Hi, welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a guide on how to play Kai, how to learn him, and how to approach learning him. So the reason I'm making this guide is I'm trying to learn Sin right now, and the approach that I'm taking for learning Sin gave me some ideas about how to help people learn Kai. And I'm just going to take what I've been doing to learn Sin and apply it to Kai, and it will be much more helpful than if I were to try to tell you what I'm doing for Sin, because I already know how to play Kai. So I have all that information in my head and I know how to break it up. Okay, so my PC is still broken. I'm just going to do it like this. It should be functional even if it's not beautiful. So, okay. There's a few things I want to get out of the way, even though I've mentioned them in other videos. First of all this is what I want to show you how to avoid. Every Kai I play, not every Kai, but almost every Kai I play against online, their entire approach to the character is to do either Greed Sever or Stun Dipper. They consider this like high-low mix-up. And technically it is high-low mix-up, but you'll see them doing stuff like this. They'll either do that or this. Whoops. They'll do this or this, right? Because they're idiots. I mean, not because they're idiots, because they don't understand what they're doing. Like, I don't know, it's different, right? If you only play online and you don't have anyone to teach you how to play correctly, you're probably going to end up playing like that. It's just what naturally happens. Because there's a few reasons for it. One of them is that when you block a Greed Sever at max range, it's actually kind of it's punishable, but it's difficult to punish. You have to know the matchup well enough to know what to do to punish it. So in a Kai mirror, if I block that Greed Sever, I have to do far S into Stun Dipper because it's far away. I can't do a regular punish that I do in a DP. That makes people what happens is when you're playing online, you'll do it. It gets blocked and you get away with it. Getting away with it makes you think that you should keep doing it, because when you hit people with it, you're getting a free combo. And that feedback is going to give you the idea that you're playing correctly, that you're playing well, even though you're not. Same thing with Stun Dipper, basically, to a lesser extent, because if they block a far Stun Dipper, look how far away. Like, I'm very minus, but I'm also very far away, so they have to know what they're doing to punish that. Some characters have to instant block the second hit to get a good punish. Okay, so that's Stun Dipper and Greed Sever. So what should you do instead of that? I've broken it down into I like to think of what you're doing when you first learn a character as being a larva, like a bug larva. All you're supposed to do is sit there and eat. You're not supposed to do anything complicated. You're just like a piece of shit that eats. So really what you're doing, as a larva, you're just going to do the minimum thing you can get away with to learn how to play better. You can't just go into a game without knowing anything, but you need to learn the minimum that you can, because what actually happens when you're playing in a match, you're learning a lot of stuff, much more than you can learn by watching a video or watching a match video or a tutorial or a combo video or by reading about your character online. You're going to learn way more when you're actually playing a game. Now, I'll give a caveat in there that if you're playing online with 6 frames, 7 frames of delay against somebody who's just doing random shit, you're probably not going to learn a whole lot. And really, if you can at all play offline, that is the best thing you can do, is play offline. Find people on Facebook or wherever that play the game near you and go play with them. That's really, really the best thing you can do. Short of that, go on Discord and only play with people that are near you, that have a good connection to you. 2 or 3 frames of delay, ideally. If you're at 4 frames or higher, it's bordering on unplayable. So once you've done that, once you've found a good environment to play in and you start playing, you're going to get you're going to find yourself actually learning stuff. And to learn as much as you can, you want to cut out all of the unnecessary decisions that the game has so many buttons and mechanisms and combos that if you try to learn all of that up front, if you go in the training mode and drill every combo, you're going to get into a match and you're not going to do anything. You're going to have all those combos in your head and you're never going to land them. Like maybe you practiced like this combo, but you're in a match and you've just never hit anyone with that 6H. So the combo is useless. Okay, so what I'm going to recommend, the first thing you do, set the opponent to jump and practice your anti-air. I'm going to have you practice anti-air first because a big part of the neutral in this game is preventing your opponent from jumping in on you for free, from instant air dashing into you. If your opponent's abusing that, you have to be able to punish it. 6P is your anti-air, but you really need to actually learn and practice this combo with the 6P, because if all you do is 6P, you get 32 damage and your opponent is teching out. That's simply not enough. Like in Street Fighter 4, I would tell you, okay, if you can't do a legit anti-air, just do like 2H or Crouching Fierce, because it still does like 100 something damage and they get knocked back. But in Guilty Gear, 6P alone is not enough. You have to do 6P, close S, 2H, and then DP. DP with hard slash. If you do it low enough, you'll get a knockdown. That wasn't low enough. In a real match, you'll tend to get it lower, and on a counter hit, you'll get a knockdown as well. There are things you can do, like against lighter characters, it tends to be harder to get this to convert into a knockdown. Don't worry about that right now. Just do it. Just like having that amount of damage and getting them teching that low to the ground is good enough. Just take it. So practice this. This is a really easy combo. It also is the basis of most of Kai's combos. So you're learning a lot by just learning that. And it works in the corner. It works mid-screen. You're good to go. Let me show you. 2H is a very good poke. At the Larva stage, you shouldn't use 2H. And let me just show you why instead of telling you so that you can believe me. With the problem with 2H is there are 4 versions of a hit on this move. This is one. This is This is another. So you can get a 1 hit, or you can get a 2 hit. I'm trying to get a 2 hit. You saw it, right? You can do a 2 hit. Yeah, okay. And then the other thing you can have is a 1 hit counter hit or a 2 hit counter hit. And both of those have different combos you need to do. So the point I'm trying to make is like as a Kai Larva, you don't want to this is good enough. It's going to give you what you need to do. It's going to create an opportunity to practice anti-airing and to convert it into a combo, which you have to be able to do. But it's not going to overwhelm you so much that you're going to have to decide which anti-air do I use, and then if this anti-air hits, which combo do I do? That's too much stuff to overwhelm you with right now. So don't worry about it. Okay. With anti-airs out of the way, you're going to want to do... I've reduced the buttons that you're going to use in a match down to 1. You're only going to use slash. That's the only button you use in neutral. You're either going to use far slash or 2S or a fireball, which is also the slash button. So in neutral, you can just keep your finger on 1 button. Well, actually 2 buttons, because you have to have your finger on punch in case they jump, so you can 6P them. Okay. Now, the reason far S is so good, you can see it covers like not quite half, I mean, not really. If you're not both on the wall, it's going to cover like half the screen, basically more than half of the distance between you and your opponent effectively. So this move tends to outrange most everything other characters have. Of course, there are some characters that can compete with you on this, but in general, like against Soul, for instance, you're outranging them with this button. So by using this button exclusively, you're going to really get to know the range on it. You're going to get to know when to push the button and when not to push the button. And you're going to learn how to hit confirm out of it. Okay. So the only real downside to this button is the recovery. So I'm holding back when I press the button. When you see Kai start to move backward, that's when the move is done recovering. It's very slow to recover. The trade-off is that because the range on it is so long, generally it's not very easy to whiff punish it. Somebody like Kai could slide under it. You can get people instant air dashing over it when they think you're going to push it if you push it too much. If you find yourself getting hit when you press the button, don't press it so much. This is what you're learning as a larva, is that you just because I'm telling you to press this button doesn't mean you should always press the button. You want to move yourself around and experiment with when you should push the button. That way your only decision is, do I push the button or do I not push the button? Those are two different things that you can do. You can either push it or not push it. And you don't have to decide which button do I push. Okay. Once you get a handle on pushing the button, which shouldn't take you too long, if you do hit with it, actually, even if you don't hit with it, what you should be doing, every time you press 2S, just immediately press 2S. Or every time you press far S, just press 2S afterward. The reason for this is that, on block, this move is not good on block. It recovers too slowly. It leaves you without much advantage. It leaves you kind of disadvantagey. At the range you're at, you're not really at a disadvantage, but you lose a lot of momentum. Whereas if you do this, the 2S is only like -2. I think it's -2. So it leaves you at bigger frame advantage and it pushes them further back, which is good. Because your whole game plan at this point is going to be keeping them at range so that you can abuse this move. If you just do this, they're not that far back. Whereas if you do this, they're you give yourself more space. Now, if this whiffs, it's okay because 2S recovers so quickly that this isn't any worse than just this. In fact, it's probably a little bit better. Okay. So that's the block situation. If you hit them, you're going to either get that, you're going to get a whiff on the 2S, which again is okay, or you're going to get a hit. Now, the range for the far S to actually come out rather than a 2S and the 2S comboing is just like a few pixels. It's not a lot. Even though I'm telling you far S, if you get a close S at that range, it's totally fine. It's just the close S is actually going to be better if they block it. And for the purposes of what I'm telling you to do, it's all good if you get the 2S like that range. That range, because what you're wanting to have happen, you want that 2S to come out every time. Even if it's a close S, you want the 2S to come out. And because what we're going to be doing is we're going to hit confirm into stun dipper. And it's really hard for me to do the spacing because I'm looking at the monitor from the side and everything looks warped. But like that's okay. There's a few ranges that it's not going to work, but in general, if you're close enough that the 2S connects on the combo, the stun dipper is almost always going to combo. There's like one range where it's not going to, and you'll have to learn to avoid that range. And it's the same if you get the far S, it's also going to combo. If you get far S into 2S, which is a very specific range. But let me just try to get it so I can show you. Yeah, so that combos. So here's how the hit confirm thing works. We'll put it to random to show you what I'm talking about. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be close enough that it's a 2S just because it's so hard to get that other range. Okay. So on block, I'm going to always do this no matter what. But on block, I don't cancel the 2S into stun dipper. If I see the close S actually hits, then I do cancel into stun dipper. And that's what a hit confirm is. By having 2 hits rather than 1, you're giving yourself time to see if the first hit connects or not. If the first hit does connect, then your brain has time to say, okay, do the stun dipper. Because if you only did this, like that combos, right? But your brain isn't fast enough to say, oh, like right there I tried, right? My brain wasn't fast enough to say, he blocked the far S, don't do a stun dipper. Because you don't want to be doing unsafe stun dippers. So by doing this, okay, and that was too far. But by giving yourself the hit confirm time, you'll actually be able to combo when you want to combo and don't combo when you don't want to combo, rather than just autopiloting and inputting everything every time. Okay. I think that's pretty clear. Now, there's a few other things we can add into the mix. You're still like at the larva phase, but there's some other really easy things we can add in that shouldn't overwhelm you. If your opponent blocks the 2S, you're good, right? But there's one little thing we can add in, and it shouldn't overwhelm you too much. You can cancel the 2S into a fireball. That's not fireball. You can cancel the 2S into a fireball, into the slash fireball. What this will do is they actually have time to move. So sometimes you do this. Sometimes you're just doing that, right? If you just do that, they're incentivized to move soon, because say we do that, we're going to end at if we do far S 2S, we're going to end at this range. This is well outside of far S range. Zato probably is going to want to move up just a little bit to pressure you, to get into drill range, etc. So if you only ever do far S 2S, he's going to always try to move forward probably after that. However, if we occasionally do this and he tries to move forward, he's going to walk right into that fireball. It's just a little bit of just so that you're not doing the exact same thing every time. Now to add on to the fireball thing, we can also, far S is at this range, right? But just outside of, so if you're moving around like this outside of far S range, there's a few things that are important about this range. One of them is that if they instant air dash into you, you are at 6p range. If he instant air dashes like just outside of far S range, I can 6p him. So what's going to happen when people see that you're threatening this a lot, they're going to try to look to instant air dash into you. So by doing this, you're kind of baiting a jump, and as soon as you see them instant air dash, you hit 6p and do your instant your anti-air combo. If they walk forward a little bit more, you press far S and they walk into your far S, and then you're just going to do this. Okay, you're not going to don't try to do this. You're just going to take the hit with the far S, take the learning of when to press it, worry about optimal confirms and stuff later. So you're just going to do that if they walk into your far S. Okay. The other thing you can do at this range, because they're worried about your far S, they and because they're looking, you want to make them try the jumps. You actually want to try to make them jump into you. It's not bad if they jump. It's good because you get practice anti-airing, and once you're good at it, you're going to get free damage and knockdowns when they try to jump into you. So to try to make them jump a little bit more, you're at this range, you're either going to press far S or you're going to throw a fireball. If you throw a fireball, you have more range than a far S, obviously. If they block it, you can if they block the fireball, you can move forward a little bit and threaten to far S again. Or you can threaten another fireball. You can fireball, pause, fireball. You can like fireball, move up, far S, whatever you want to do. Just the point is, as a Larva Kai player, you just want to stay around far S range. Okay. Now, the other thing you kind of need to know how to do is work the corner a little bit at least, because even trying to take every basic thing, make it as basic as possible, it's not helpful for me to not show you the corner stuff, because I really fall apart. If you get somebody cornered, you can see even the game is kind of giving you a nudge in the background. There's a guy in a cage in the corner. Your opponent who is cornered. And on this stage, it's actually really helpful. If I stand at the edge of the cage, this is the cage. This is the Kai cage, the Kai prison. So I corner my opponent and I stand right here at the edge of the cage. The cage is the max range where the far S will not hit. So at this range, if he tries to walk forward, he's going to get hit by far S. If he runs forward, he's probably going to eat the full. He's probably going to eat the full hit confirm. If he walks into that, if he runs into that, if he walks forward a little bit and you do it late, you can probably get a hit confirm out of it. Whatever. That's that one range. There's the one range you got to watch for. And 2S is too far away. Just be ready for that, okay? But we're close S and 2S is too far away. You just it's like this range, I think. No, that works. Okay, anyway. So you corner somebody and you get them with this tip threatening them with just the tip. And then at this range, Fireball is insanely good, because without even having to walk into range of doing anything, you can just immediately put a Fireball in them. And if they block that, because he's cornered, there's no pushback. Whoops. Because notice in mid-screen, when you block a Fireball, it pushes them back. But here, there's no pushback. So you can just kind of threaten Fireball like that. You can Fireball into, or you can far S into Fireball. And then you can do another 2 Fireballs. There's a ton of stuff you can do here. You can just 2S straight away, 2S raw into Fireball. And 2S is good because it hits low. So if they're trying to walk out, 2S threatens them. You can see just within this tiny little space, there's a lot of stuff I can do and threaten. So if I move just in and out of the far S range, I'm threatening him with a lot of stuff. And most importantly about this range is that, let's switch up here. I'll put him in that same spot. At this range, if I try to jump out, he can anti-air me. If I try to instant air dash out, I'm a little bit too close. So what happens is, like, if I think he's going to jump out, I actually want to walk back a little bit. This way, if he instant air dashes, I can just walk up a little and 6P him clean. It will immediately catch his instant air dash. And what's going to like point you as a do anything, and then your opponent is going to see a gap, and since you're point blank on them, what they're going to do, they're just going to go like this, and they're out. There's nothing you can do. But if you stay around this range, even though you're not directly threatening them with mix up, what you're doing is you're daring them to try to jump out on you. If they jump out, you 6P them. You can air throw them. If they try to do something like this, you can as soon as you see them super jump, you can do this. I know that's an extra button that I told you didn't have to worry about, but by jumping backward a little bit, it's basically like you're playing like football or something, and you're just like zoning him, right? You're trapping him. You're like a defender, and he's trying to get through or something, and you're just like completely locking them in. So just remember that the further away you are, well, while he is still cornered, the more control you actually have, the more locked in he is. And when you move closer, the closer you're able to get better combos, but you're also giving him a very big opportunity to just walk out of to just jump out on you. The other thing at this range is he can't really dead angle out when you're doing this. If he dead angles that, it's not really going to do much. Well, actually, would it? I don't know. Generally, the further you are away, the less good a dead angle is. I think it would just whiff in this case. Maybe not, because it's kind of slow. But this would probably whiff a dead angle. A fireball would whiff a dead angle, for instance. He can't really burst too well at this range. As soon as you get a little bit closer, he can burst out, and then you're out of and then you're not cornering him anymore. So really, really remember that. Your goal is to get somebody to the corner eventually, and when you do have them cornered, never make them really work to get out. The only way they should be able to get out of the corner is by outplaying you. They shouldn't be able to get out of the corner because you don't even notice that they're in the corner and you autopilot and do something dumb and they just jump over you. That shouldn't happen. Even as a really basic Larva Kai player, you should still be able to corner people, because the game is set up so that being cornered is hard for the person who's cornered, and you have to make them work, okay? So the next video, I'm going to talk about more advanced stuff. Don't even watch the next video until you've gone and played with decent players. Don't just play lag fests with shitty people. Go play some real matches. Play for like 3 or 4 hours at least, just doing this stuff. After 3 or 4 hours, you should, I'm just arbitrarily saying 3 or 4 hours. Don't put a time on it. You'll know you're ready when you know how the far S works. You'll know why. Once you start realizing, oh yeah, this far S shit is good. Once you start landing actual hit confirms in a match, that's another sign that you're ready to watch the next video. If you're landing that in a match, that's good. You're getting there. When you've started cornering people and actually realizing how to keep them in the corner, when you felt that prison, when you've created and felt that prison on them, then you know you're making progress and you're ready to move on. Anti-airing in this game is actually really difficult because instant air dashes are so hard to react to if you're not looking for them. Even if you haven't really consistently been anti-airing people, as long as you've been looking for anti-airs and really trying to anticipate them, and maybe you've landed a few of them, you could still be ready to move on to the next video, because the anti-airs, like, you're gonna have to keep practicing that no matter what. I'm not dumbing anything down by telling you to do an anti-air. So even if you move on before you have your anti-airs totally solid, I think you'll be okay. It took me months to be able to anti-air at all well in this game, and that's with having other fighting game experience. But yeah, don't watch the next video until you've really played, because like I said, you learn most of what you learn from playing. Like, this video is telling you what to do in order to learn. You're not learning really anything by watching this video other than what I think. Your fingers aren't learning anything. You're not internalizing really anything. You're just being handed some information. And if you go and do the stuff I'm saying, you'll actually start to learn. Once you learn this stuff, you're going to find yourself in situations like, you're going to start asking yourself questions. Like, this is what I did as Sin. I did the same thing with Sin. I learned about this amount of stuff and started playing in a lot of matches. And then I started getting knockdowns with my little baby combo. After I got a knockdown, I started wondering, I wonder what I do after I knock him down. Like, I don't know any good mix-ups at all. So instead of even trying to really mix up, I just hung back and did the same thing I'm telling you to do with Kai. I just hung back and abused his pokes because that's what I knew how to do. But every time I kept getting a knockdown, I thought more and more, I wonder what I'm supposed to do next. And that's how I build and find out what to do next. In the next video, I will tell you what to do, but maybe you're actually going to have other questions. things that you personally need to learn that I don't tell you. If you've had those questions, you can look them up yourself and learn. Hopefully I can anticipate what you're going to need to know next. But like I said, it's going to vary from person to person. And you may find yourself learning a lot on your own, and you don't even need to watch videos. That's ideally what happens. So thank you for watching. I'll put the next video up eventually.